All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Riverson, and my company is Permission to Charge. Today, I wanted to talk about this book and do a blab. Hopefully, we can have people come on and collaborate. So this is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear. And I had the privilege to take my little sister to go see her speak in Seattle last week, and I got so many great insights from listening to her speak. She's a very, very successful woman, and she's written a lot of great books. This one is on the New York Times bestseller, and also Eat, Pray, Love. A lot of you have heard of that. And so I got so many great insights that actually relate to being a business owner and a coach. And so I wanted to do a blab about some of those insights and hear what some of yours are as well. And even though if you are an entrepreneur, maybe you're not an artist or a writer or something like that, or a musician, but maybe being an entrepreneur is your creative outlet. Maybe that's your art. I know for me, I've always felt like I'm very creative and have a lot of ideas, but I'm not an artist. I like to write poems, but I am not a writer. I'm not an artist. I'm not a musician. I don't do those kind of things. So when I heard her speak, I just thought it was brilliant what she was saying, because it related completely to me as an entrepreneur. And I knew that all of you guys would probably want to join the discussion. So there is a seat open. If you want to join the seat, if you've never been live on Blab and you want to check it out and talk with me, that's great. Otherwise, I'm going to get into some of my insights. And then if you feel, inspired, you can get on live in a few minutes. So you just need to knock on the seat, or knock the door, basically. If you are inspired to come on and chat about this or give your opinion, then you can just, you basically knock to come in the door, open the seat. Before we get started, would you guys all tweet? There's a little button that says, tell a little bird. And since we have a dark screen, that button doesn't stand out. So I'm with Bob, who said earlier that he doesn't really like the black background either. It's hard to see things. But there is that little button that says, thank you, Lisa, for doing that. It says, tell a little birdie. So that will push this out to the Twitterverse, and that way others can join. Maybe we'll get someone who's actually read this book. So I came on a few minutes ago, and I don't think anyone here so far has actually read this book, including myself, but I did hear Elizabeth speak, like I said. So I'm hoping we get someone come on live and come into the seat that's actually read the book. So let's get into this. Let's start talking about it. So I love the title, Creative Living Beyond Fear. I was really impressed with, hey, Robert. Robert, have you read this book, Big Magic? Tell us if you've read it. And if you are, we would love to have you come on in the seat. So I'm going to bring you on, Robert.
Hey.
Hey, Robert.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I actually skimmed it. I have it on my shelf. I want to read the whole thing because it seemed like a really, really good book. I read the front and the back real quick just to get some ideas.
Okay, good. Well, let's talk about it, because I was hoping someone would come on. Sorry, I'm just reading what Bob said. Robert was talking about the color of the background as well as another chapter.
You don't know about all the changes?
Yeah, tell us.
Oh, okay. I was just helping the blab with all the changes. That's why. Okay. Obviously, they went dark on everything. I feel bad, because it's got nothing to do about. It's the magic blab now. So if you type in the chat either /white, light, LIGHT. It will turn it all back white in the chat.
Oh, yes. Okay, so /white.
Light, L, light.
Light. Oh, okay.
Okay.
What about the background, though, is still dark, and on the left side, it's still dark.
Yeah, that's going to stay, because it was always black behind the boxes anyway.
Oh, it was?
The other thing that changed was by the Twitter. They made that dark. And
how come on the left side of my screen, why is that dark?
You mean the top part of it is?
Where
it says recording and it says the title.
Yeah.
They changed that to darkening. They also changed the font, if you noticed, on the Twitter feed. It's a little bit more clearer, a little bit more legible. It's block lettering almost.
You know what I don't like it is because that little button that says tell a little bird, it used to be blue and it would really stand out on the page.
I know. They're debating at it. But the good thing is, if everybody tells a little bird right now, in the chat, you're going to see who told a little bird, because a streak's going to come across. There it is. Whitney just told a little bird. Look at the comments.
So that's a new thing.
Yeah, because now look in the comment area. It said Whitney Bishop with a blue stripe and a Twitter. That means that Whitney just told a little bird.
Okay, but we could see that before on the Twitter feed anyway.
Right, but it was only on the Twitter feed. And when it used to go boom, 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 boom real fast, here you see it all right here now.
Okay, let's bring in Sandra. We're going to bring in one more person. Let's see if Sandra's actually read the book.
I'm trying to think. If you notice, the question tab is missing.
Yeah.
It's coming back. They're just piecing it all back together. That is coming back.
Why do we have a blab expert on here?
Okay,
so I want to welcome Whitney Bishop. Thanks for tweeting that out. Whitney, have you actually read the book? Because we'd love to have you come on if you've read the book.
Trying to see what else.
Half of it. Okay, well, I'm inviting you to come on into the seat. None of us have actually read the book. Isn't that funny? It's pretty new, right? So, all right. So Whitney's trying to come on, and Sandra's trying to come on. And let's give Robert some props for getting on here and telling us what's really going on with Blab.
And there'll be a town hall tomorrow night, probably from Blab itself, explaining all the changes. You still have to do the /Q to do question.
Okay.
That helps put that question out on a little bold button, which is helpful. Right.
Okay.
And the other thing is, as the host, you know how you had the little trash can that you could delete, like a comment you didn't like?
Yeah.
It's not a trash can anymore. If you put it, star one of the comments, and you'll see a little red triangle that comes up in the corner.
You can X out of it.
It's away from the reply button now, because there were too many people that went to hit reply and then they put the comment in the trash can instead.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Well, let's get started. Thank you for updating
Not a
us.
problem. I got to fly and get to somebody. They're calling me, actually. So I will going to read the book, and I'm going to let you know what I think of it.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, Jessica.
Bye. Hey, Whitney. Sorry. Okay. So, Whitney, you've at least read half the book. Let's talk about this book.
I love this book, right? Did you listen to the podcast?
No, so the reason we're doing this blab is because I took my little sister last week here in Seattle to go hear her speak. So, of course, I saw her speak, and I bought the book. I've read Eat, Pray, Love, and so I have her autograph. Okay.
Oh, nice.
And then as I was getting ready for this blab, I realized that I got another autograph.
Yeah.
I did not know that you got a hold of this.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely listen to her podcast. It's really fantastic. So she does little magic lessons, and she's talking to people all over the world who are stuck sort of creatively and trying to find their permission to be creative, or mostly that's what it is. And she really breaks it down in the way that only she can. So I'm I just finished the second chapter of the book, and it's just truth, right? She's just really speaking the truth about what it means to have beautiful gifts buried deep within you by the universe that you get to spend your life trying to figure out how to creatively express.
Yeah.
So it's really
explain it. So she did mention her podcast during her speech. So how do we get to her podcast?
So I think through iTunes, if you go to Big Magic Podcast, it should pull those up. And not only does she talk to somebody like you or me out there in the world who is working to be creative through our business or through our life, but then as she talks to them, it becomes clear that there is a person in her own network that could be of service to this individual. So she reaches out to Cheryl Strayed. She reaches out to Ann Patchett. She reaches out to people in these creative fields and talks about that person's challenge and gets back with them and follows up with them to see how things are going. It was just incredibly...
Yeah, she mentioned that she follows up with them.
Yeah.
I just saw that Tracy Warren came on. Tracy, I believe, also went to this event in Seattle, because I know Tracy. So again, we're talking about Big Magic. Tracy, if you want to come on as well and come into the seat, would love to talk to you because no, I don't think any of us have read the whole book. So we'll bring Tracy on and have her say hello. And then I actually do have some notes that I'm going to share, some of my insights from hearing her speak. Hey, Tracy.
I have finished the book because I cheated. I listened to it on Audible.
There you go.
Oh, good for
That's
you.
not cheating. That's not cheating.
Hey, April. We've got April on.
So this is the first time I've been on Blab.
Me too.
Oh, I'm honored.
Yeah, I have one later today, so I'm testing it out.
Okay, let's give Tracy and Whitney some props, okay?
Okay, how do you do that?
There's these little yellow hands.
Yeah.
And you clap. It's called props, but
Hey, Charlene.
Oh my gosh, that is the goofiest thing I've ever seen. Okay.
yeah, it's awesome. So, hey, I want to say hi to April Pope, and while she's here, April is one of my awesome students in one of my courses, and she's doing a blab in 20 minutes. So I'm just going to put you guys got to check out her blab in 20 minutes because she's a money coach and she tells it straight to you. So I'm going to share some of my notes. I want to hear what you think, Tracy. I want to hear what you think, Whitney. I just wrote a few bullet points. Okay, so one thing that I thought was really, the thing that stood out to me was she said, fear and creativity are like conjoined twins.
Yes. That was awesome.
I thought that was really good because she was saying wherever you go, like you have these ideas, you go forth in the world to express your creativity, and fear is always there. And basically you make peace with that. You accept that it's always going to be there, but you don't have to have it run you or rule you. Mm-hmm. What did you guys think when you heard that?
I loved it. It totally resonated with me. It was like, just get in the back seat. You're not making the decisions. You're welcome to come along. We know you're going to come along anyway, but you don't get to drive. And I really loved that.
He gives you a script of what to say when that fear, the ego stuff is coming up. She tells you what to say to it. And she's so cute because she's like, oh yeah, I talk to my fear. I just tell it, it's okay for you to be here, but you're not going to run the show. And I thought that was great that she shared a dialogue and, she shared how she actually handles it,
Very cool.
Let's see here. Who else we got here? So April says it's nice to acknowledge the fear up front. Totally. I think that, and I would just want to say, since I'm recording this blab, for anyone that is listening now or later, don't quote me on anything, okay? This is just my interpretation. I don't need messages like, she didn't say it that way. Like, this is just my interpretation. So read the book. But what I understood that she was saying is that a lot of people spend their life trying to run away from fear. And if you can just accept that it's going to be there, it keeps us safe. We need it. And at other times it does get in our way. So we have to kind of make friends with it, realize it goes hand in hand with creativity. It's creativity's conjoined twin. And so it's always going to pop up, but if you can address it and show it love, then you can kind of say, okay, but I'm going for my dream. I'm going for my goal. So that was a major point that I took away. By the way, if you guys want to jump in with your big aha, I'd love to hear it.
I will say, Jessica, one of the things she even talked about, and I don't know if you've gotten to this yet, but she talks about how people will come up to her and say, oh my gosh, that part of Eat, Pray, Love where you got out of an abusive relationship and all this stuff, it inspired me. And she's like, I never talked about that in Eat, Pray, Love. Right? But people read it. So what you were just saying about she didn't talk about that. Well, we all interpret it differently, but I can share what happened for me finishing this book. I had an idea for a book 7 years ago, and I have not given this book even a second thought in years. And I drove to Vancouver, BC last week. That's why I finished the book, is I listened to it for 2.5 hours up,
Nice.
2 hours back. And on the way back, I actually wrote out all the chapter titles for my book.
Wow.
Good for you. That's awesome.
That whole idea that ideas are everywhere.
Yeah.
And if you don't grab it,
Yeah.
it might land on someone else. And not that I want to be selfish with my ideas, but like that was really, and then the contract she makes with her ideas. Like,
yeah, tell us about that. Tell us about that.
Well, she just talks about, thank you for coming to me. Like, she just makes this verbal contract with her ideas.
Nice.
And if she comes up with an idea that she's not so sure about, she even says, thank you. And I just don't know if that's, I don't know if that's going to be an idea I use, right? But just that whole idea that there's ideas floating around us all the time.
She says that ideas are energetic life forms. So, and like she talks to her ideas, right? So she believes that ideas are around us. They have their own energy. And, I think what she was saying about acknowledging them is if you don't acknowledge them and they're just always coming to you, then you could cut off that flow, right? Like you can cut off the universe is like speaking to you, ideas are popping up. But if you're like, okay, thank you. That's a good idea. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And knowing that you don't have to grab all of them, like the one that speaks to you, grab it. And then don't make yourself like feel bad. She says a line about how most people spend their life like saying no, 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 no. And then the ideas they say yes to, they suffer. Like if their idea doesn't make money, or if other people don't like their idea, or the idea doesn't come out the way that they thought, then they just are like slaves to their creativity and slaves to their ideas. And they just spend all this time feeling bad about it. So
I also love that she talked about, we don't have genius. We have a genius. Like somebody sitting next to me, like this genius next to me, that I don't know, something about that really resonated with me.
Cool.
Well, I think if that's true, then that means we can all tap into it.
Yes.
It's available for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't go see her talk. I
thought you were there.
No, I got to go to Brene Brown just a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
nice.
Cool. How was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Well, she talked about her quite a bit.
Yeah, they both talk about each other, which is awesome.
It's collaboration, right? Like even though she's a writer and I'm a coach and you're a coach, and Whitney, are you a coach?
I am.
Okay. But I saw so many parallels to entrepreneurs and coaches as to, her business. One of the things that I thought was really important is she talked about this idea that if your creativity doesn't make money, she was very strict on, and April, the money coach, will like this. She made it very clear to the whole auditorium, you need to have a job. Like you need to have a way to make money. Don't take your idea of like a book and say, this idea has to pay for my whole life.
Right.
Because then you're putting all this pressure on your creativity. You're saying my creativity has to do everything and pay for everything. And I thought that was really smart advice, because me being a coach, I see a lot of people who are out there and they're struggling and they're frustrated that their idea, maybe a business idea, isn't making money. And it's like, not every idea is a money-making idea. Right. And that's what she was saying, is like, cut yourself some slack. Like, make sure you have a stable way to make money and take care of you. Don't make creativity your financial planner. Like you've got to have some, and it's like, I thought it was practical advice. And then I think there's always like divine inspiration, follow your dreams. Sometimes you just got to go for it. But I like that she put that practical piece there.
I started art journaling. I'm an empty nester with a 2-year-old granddaughter who happens to be visiting. So I may have to like take off at any minute. My husband is giving her a bath. But I started art journaling, and to me, it immediately became about, this isn't as good as those things I see other art journalers doing. I wouldn't want anybody to see this. And what I got clear about was, it was about the process. It was about getting my hands dirty. It was about sitting down and getting lost. It was about having some fun and being expressive in a way that was outside of my normal sort of way of doing things. And when I let go of, I'm not going to sell it, right? I'm not going to sell my art journals. I'm not going to turn into an art journal person. But similarly, I love music. Mm-hmm. And so listening to Yo-Yo Ma or any great cellist or guitarist, and I'm listening to that, and I think immediately, oh, I want to learn how to play the cello. No, just enjoy the cello, right? Like, you don't have to go learn how to, just enjoy it. You don't.
And if you want to, you can. But it's like, that's what. Did she tell a story about? She told a story about that, which I can't remember the whole story. But there was something that you just said.
Was it the ice skater? The woman who ice skates?
Yes, she told a story about a woman who took up ice skating. Yeah. She was a mature woman. Her kids were grown, I think, and she decided she's going to take up ice skating. And she didn't make herself have to compete or be professional or make any money. Like, she just enjoyed it. Yeah. And that's the thing she said. She also said your motivation for being creative, it doesn't have to help people. So I thought that was like, you can just be creative because you like it. It floats your boat. It lights you up. Like, it doesn't always have to be, oh, but this is going to really help someone else. She said that she wrote the book Eat, Pray, Love, and she wrote it for herself. And I think the testament, because people either love it or hate it. Like, I invited one of my friends to come see her in Seattle. She's like, I wouldn't pay $20 to see her. And I'm like, what? And like, I've had other people say, like, I don't understand what the big deal about that book was. It sounded like she was whining the whole time. And I was like, when I read the book, I was in such a place in my life that every word in that book was like feeding my soul. It was like she wrote the book for me. I'm like, oh my God, you wrote this book for me. Like, you know who I am. And so I feel like that's just a testament to, she wrote the book for herself. She said if she had tried to write that book to help other people, to make it be like a self-help thing, it wouldn't have come off as genuine and authentic. And it wouldn't have helped the people that it did help, because a lot of people loved that book. And then there were critics that were like, yeah, she was whining the whole time. And it's like, because she was just telling her authentic story, it was the success that it was.
Cool. Well, I need to go get ready for my first blag tonight at 7:30, but I am so glad that I stopped in here, and Big Magic drew me in, and you ladies were delightful, and you're doing a great job. Is this one of your first ones?
Your first blab is tonight?
Yeah, at 7:30.
Do you have a link to it?
I did, yeah.
Okay, good. Awesome. Well, glad to have you on here.
Good. Thank you. Bye, Tracy. Bye, Jessica.
Bye. Follow Whitney, you guys. Okay, so I have about 6 minutes to go here. There was something else that I wanted to share. What was it? It was about, it was on the tip of my tongue. What was it? It was about the authenticity piece. We talked about not having to help other people. Here it is. Okay. So a lot of this happens with writers, with coaches, entrepreneurs, where we get an idea and we go, but so-and-so's already doing that idea. Like, so-and-so's already has a business about that, or so-and-so's like the best at that, so I can't do that. And what she said is, it hasn't been done by you, right? Like, until you put your own creative expression, your own passion, the way it comes out is going to be different than someone else. So there might be tons of people already doing that particular idea, but it's not going to come through you. And when it comes through you, it's going to be something different. It's going to have your own twist on it. And she said, nowadays there's not that many original ideas. And I think it's really true. Like, there's a collective consciousness. We're all coming up with things at the same time, especially with the internet, right? Like, you can't help but be impacted by other people's thoughts and ideas. And she said, instead of spending all your time, waiting for years and years and years to have like this original idea, like do what makes you happy, put something out there, do it in your own authentic way. It's not like copying. It's just, if you have an idea and you want to share something, it's okay if it's been done before. Obviously, if you're respectful of other, people's ideas and you give credit where credit's due, but you can still do something that you've seen before and do it in your own way, put your own twist on it. What do you think about that, Tracy? Because have you seen that too with like, you and I are in the entrepreneur space, like people feeling like, oh, I want to do this, but someone, I've seen it done before, or how am I going to be different?
Well, I have a massive problem with people who are like, I'm just like so-and-so. I'm like, you're nothing like so-and-so. Or when people, I'm sure that people do this to you, Jessica, that they go, oh, I do what you do. Like I work in the same space. It's like, you do? Like, you haven't even talked to me for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's like, even when I tell somebody that I work in social media, oh yeah, I do that too. I'm like, no, like, could you ask me another question? And that whole, even what I said on Saturday, like, quit calling yourself a business and life coach. That's like generic and forgettable. That everyone puts their own spin on it. Even today last night I was Googling about a specific topic, and I found a speaker that speaks exactly to that, which is what I want to speak about. And today I listened to part of one of her videos, and I'm like, yeah, she's nothing like me.
Yeah, even though the topic's the same, but your stories, your personality, your passion, your like what you have is going to come through in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
What did she say about, that book thing, what you were just saying about, like, no one should go out with the intention of writing a book to help other people.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about them, it's about you. And I know I cheated. I never read Eat, Pray, Love. I only saw the movie, which is what I typed in. Because I didn't know who Elizabeth Gilbert was.
What was that?
I didn't even know who Elizabeth Gilbert was until World Domination Summit. One of my friends posted one of her videos that I watched about her TED Talk. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I kind of like this. And
I encourage you guys to look up her TED Talks because they're really good. She was on Marie Forleo's show and everything. We have a really good comment. Heather Logus said that it's actually good if there's other people doing similar stuff. It's true because there's proof of concept, so if you see other people talking about the same thing, there's proof of concept. So you're right, Heather. It actually is a really good thing. Let me see if there was something else I wanted to share before we go. Okay. So my daughter, at the beginning of this blab, I showed that I got her book and I got her signature, her autograph. And then my daughter came and autographed it. And then my daughter also autographed my notes. So I'm having a hard time reading my notes. This is
two.
Yeah, she's two. So she's very creative, right? This is what we're talking about. I thought it was, here she is writing all over my book about, creative living beyond fear. She has no fear to, draw all over a, very expensive hardback book. But I'm going to leave you guys with this because I had exactly until 4:00 Pacific. So I want to leave you guys with this. By the way, follow Tracy, and Tracy does a lot of, scoping, Periscope. You're doing them every day, right? So
I've kind of backed off, but
okay. Well, follow her on Blab, find her on Periscope, and this is what I want to leave you guys with. This is a great quote that she says in her book. You can measure your worth by dedication to your path, not by your successes or failures.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave you guys all with that. Thank you so much, Tracy, for being on here. It was so much fun.
Thank you for letting me play.
Yeah, and I'll be seeing you at eWomen in just a couple weeks.
Yay.
Okay, bye, everybody. Thanks for being on.